Hi everybody, so today's video is going to be a little bit different, I will admit that, and I've been debating whether or not to actually film this, and I have decided to. This is about negative comments, and as a YouTuber you kind of have to learn that you will receive negativity on your videos and you just kind of have to accept it really. I've noticed a bit of an increase on two different subjects of my videos and I just wanted to explain them and kind of answer them. I figured out that just writing a comment or responding to the negative comments just doesn't really help, and I wanted to go into a little bit more detail and just film a whole video about it, so hopefully when I receive any more negative comments I can just link the commenters to this video and hopefully they'll understand a little bit more. So the two subjects that I receive negativity on are Rosie's accommodation and the fact that she lives alone. So I'll start out with Rosie's accommodation. As some of you may know, Rosie has a hutch, she has an indoor cage, she has a hutch and run, an exercise pen, and then I let her free range in the garden. People seem to assume that because Rosie lives in a hutch, she doesn't get enough exercise. Rosie is outside for 10 to 11 hours a day, and her hutch and run now has a rain shelter on so she can go outside even if the weather is wet or anything like that. I noticed that my negative comments come on my cage tours, and it's partly my fault because I don't really explain this very much, but I always say, oh please read the description. I don't know if they do read the description, but I always put in the description that Rosie's cage is left open so that she has free access to run around in the room. So she's not caged up, she's not locked away or anything like that, because that just wouldn't provide her with enough exercise. And I know that I should make it more clear, especially in my upcoming hutch tours, especially around Christmas time, that the cage door is left open. People have accused me of torturing Rosie and calling me an animal abuser and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, just because I keep her in a hutch, it doesn't mean that she doesn't have enough exercise or she doesn't get enough playtime or attention, because that's definitely not true. The reason why I don't have a shed is because my garden isn't big enough. You might know that we have steps which leads to the upper area of the garden, and that is unstable land, so a shed couldn't stay there. And I couldn't possibly put a shed around the area that is stable with a run attached as well, because that would just take up the garden that also belongs to my family, because I still live in my parents' house and it just wouldn't be right. We have no spare rooms, which is another reason why Rosie doesn't live in a room. It wouldn't be fair to keep her in my bedroom where it gets really hot and there's hardly any daylight or anything like that. So yeah, that explains the accommodation bit, I hope. I mean, I wouldn't care so much if people were nice about what they were saying, but sometimes people can literally shout in the comment section. I mean, calling me an animal abuser because I keep Rosie in a double-storey hutch, that's just not very fair, I don't think. Okay, the second subject is why Rosie lives alone. First of all, I live in my parents' house, as I explained. They have their rules and I have to respect their decisions. I can't just bring home animals all of the time to my parents' house because it's not in my rights to do that. Secondly, is my dad and my brother are actually allergic to fur, which is one reason why my brother and dad hardly come to the stables anymore with the horses. I've only just managed to get a pet, to be quite honest with you, because of my brother and dad's allergies. So having double the amount of fur wouldn't be very fair on my parents. I know that people say, oh, it's recommended that you keep rabbits in pairs. It's not a must, it's just recommended, and I mean, I always advise people to buy their rabbits in pairs, especially if they're able to. But of course, if you're not able to, then it's not up to people to tell you to buy another rabbit for a pair. I think it's just down to respecting people's decisions and opinions, and first of all making sure that your own pets are in the right care before targeting other people. Rosie gets plenty of attention I always bring her inside for lap time and things like that. I spend as much time as I possibly can on her. I spoil her quite a lot. She gets plenty of attention and she's not lonely, she's not sad, you know, she's always binking, which tells me that she is a happy bunny. And I just wish that people, it's just a couple of people that can't seem to accept that Rosie lives alone. And I know that there's people out there who want rabbits to have the best lives possible, and I know that I can do better, but for now this is how I keep Rosie, and I just like those certain people to accept that. I think that the people who have their rabbits unneutered or unspayed or unvaccinated or on an unhealthy diet, for example muesli, I think they're the sort of people that you should be giving advice to. Well, I say giving, but sometimes people can go a little bit too over the top, sharing advice or sharing help or ideas with them. For now, I like how I keep Rosie. She's on a great diet, she's spayed, she's vaccinated, and she's happy, and that's one thing that I want to make sure she is happy, and she shows me that. So yeah, I hope that explains a little bit more. If you have any questions, just leave them below in the comments section. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this a little bit more helpful, especially if you were a bit confused into why Rosie lives in a hutch or why she lives alone. I hope that answers your questions. So thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!